Hello, and welcome to another session of thought sharing. Like the past and possibly the future ones, this is a short, quick discussion on a topic of mutual interests. And today it happens to be the area deep into the production management, an area well discussed in the circles of ERP in general and supply chain management specifically, campaign managements. In our daily lives, we have used this word in various contexts military, marketing, politics, on and on. Today, we shall confine ourselves to production management, and even within that, prominently process manufacturing based production management. These are the organizations that make stuff through the production orders, mostly called batches. Stuff such as medicines to metals and fertilizers to food and things like that. A dictionary definition would read something like a systematic course of activities for a specific purpose. But such a definition, as applied to manufacturing, would read something like campaign is a manufacturing series of batches of similar or same product in a predefined sequence in a given period, preceded and followed by something. So essentially, these are multiple production orders, the batches that are happening over a period of predefined time. These batches are for the same or similar products. You're not generally willy-nilly putting some different things together. And there is a reason for these also to be same or similar product. And let's get into that in a minute. But these are the batches that follow a specific sequence so as to exploit the efficiency. Such a campaign also gets identified not only by the product it produces, but also by the quantity of the product or the number of the batches. And last of the important characteristic is that campaign is almost always encompassed by a procedure before or after it. Such as setup or cleanup or tear down or things like that. What they can get called by different names, but essentially they are around some setups to be done ahead of it so that the equipment runs efficiently and some sort of a tear down cleanup activity after all the batches are done. In fact, that is one of the reasons the batches have been put together into campaign. It starts to answer the question, why are there campaigns? The production equipments or the routing that needs to be set up or adjusted to run optimally so that it does the most efficient processing of the ingredients. And especially in the process manufacturing industries, the ingredients vary from lot to lot. And also, many of them then need a cleanup to be done for the routing after all those batches are done. So such activities, if we need to minimize them, we need to run those similar batches together. And that explains why there are campaigns. One extreme of minimizing such activities, such as setups, is that do it once and never do it again. That means there are dedicated lines. But in real life, where we have product proliferations and then there are capacity constraints, we need to use the same line, same routing to produce multiple different products. And the campaigns then go on to provide us this golden mean that of flexibility and efficiency. It's like best of both the worlds. Obviously, there would be some considerations around cost of carrying the inventory or cost of doing the setups and hence the campaign sizing. For now, I shall just chuck along and not drill deeper into the mathematics of determining the optimal campaign size. But needless to say, there is a science around that. This campaign way of performing production activities is quite common in many manufacturing organizations. Let's look at steel rolling mills. Yes, the large rollers through which they push hot or cold metal to produce the sheets that then get used in construction or automobile or wherever. They run the campaigns of products with similar physical dimensions and thickness, say width. And talking about the width, it's a very common industry practice to start with the batches with the narrower plates and gradually go wider. Paint producing companies do a very similar thing. They would have campaigns of batches needing the same base or ingredients with similar chemical properties such as viscosity, VOC, etc. And like the steel mills, they also prefer a specific order. They go from lighter color to darker color. In food factories, if you don't want to have, even I'm sure you don't want to have like a kosher food batches intermingled with non-kosher food, or the batches that have ingredients that are allergy prone, say peanuts and things like that, with the ones that strictly avoid those. It's a no-brainer. There are many pharmaceuticals or manufacturing organizations that do compounding or bulk manufacturing of APIs or drugs. They would call it as a prescription based campaigns. Needless to say, it's a very common practice in many industries and considered a best practice by them. Obviously, the manufacturing organizations use ERP systems, and these systems, therefore, would also be looking into campaigns from various perspectives. And they need all such considerations to support campaigns. For today, I would spend more time only in one of the area, but let me connect it to others as well. Campaign considerations could start with planning. The system should be able to identify the similarities and production constraints and pull all the production batches together to coagulate them into a campaign. Obviously, any planning scheduling system needs to concern itself with the setup time and the resources needed at the beginning of the campaign, as well as the tear down cleanup things needed at the end of the campaign, and it should plan and schedule for all those. In the absence of a planning system, or for time being ignoring that angle, simply looking into the details of the production management system, the system that manages the production orders, handles the material, etc., there needs to be a facility to create a campaign. There, it could be based on some templates. For example, a template for a given product or a category of a product for a given quantity, or with a pattern of batches. For example, two batches of 5,000 pounds of product P1 followed by another batch of 3,000 pounds and followed by another couple of batches of 5,000 pounds, and then on and on. So there can be a pattern of batches, or there would be a way to assemble a campaign. Like if the production orders are generated as a result of some rudimentary planning system or order taking system or whichever other way, a production supervisor should be able to take a look at all such production orders and group them together to create campaigns out of them. Having created the campaigns, those would have to be managed through the life cycle, very analogous to a production batch. A campaign would, upon creation, have to be released to the production floor. One should also be able to arrange for ingredients, say reserve the material and the storage space for the product for that campaign. As one starts to execute the campaign to react to the contingencies of the real life, one should also be therefore allowed to add a batch or remove a batch or things like that. Obviously, this will have to be done with corresponding validations and controls in places. Based on the specificities of the campaign, one may also be required to add or tweak some or many of those pre and post activities such as cleaning. Those also should be therefore planned in the production system and correspondingly reflected back into the details of those activities. Like anything else in a system, most of such entities may need a facility to cancel, terminate, and delete. So therefore, a campaign also needs to have a facility to cancel it or terminate it in the middle of it or things like that. A good system would always have monitoring built into it. So therefore, a campaign management system will have some sort of status and progress monitoring built into it. All ERPs have KPIs, key performance indicators. Those indicators therefore now need to reflect campaigns like the campaign efficiency or campaign use of materials and campaign scrap and things like that. Talking about ERP system, any ERP system worth its salt should have good costing and financial accounting built into it. So such a campaign management presumes that a corresponding consideration is there in a costing system. For example, a costing system needs to ensure that the costs that have been incurred in setting up or tearing down are attributed to only the products that are produced during that campaign. Or there should be a mechanism to kind of associate all such costs to a specified account so that the financial accounting people at the end of the quarter or year should be able to look at it and do some sort of an analysis. All in all, a campaign management is a bit of a subject by itself. So let's continue discussing it over the comments for this video or other thought sharing sessions. As usual, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, be assured those are well appreciated. So please do not hesitate to register those in the comment section and I shall try my best to respond. Till the next thought sharing session, I'm leaving with your own thoughts. Bye.